Hi, this is Carrie from Tone Wars. We're going to go live in just a few minutes, but before we do, I just wanted to take a few seconds to say a few things. Jared and I really appreciate when you guys tune in and interact with us when we go live. We work very hard to make sure that our live streams and our produced videos are educational and entertaining for everyone. Believe it or not, there's a lot of work that goes into our live streams and our produced videos. So if you like what you're experiencing here, here's a couple ways you can help us out. The Super Chat feature is turned on and any amount will be appreciated. Jared is also available for private consultation for a nominal fee. You can contact Jared through two of the links below. One is through our Tone Wars Facebook page and the other is through email. So thank you so much for your support. The live stream's about ready to start, so go pour yourself your favorite glass of whiskey or other libation and we'll be right with you. Cheers!
Welcome to Tone Wars. Hey guys, what's going on? It's been an interesting day here trying to get everything ready. 3 amps to dial in and sound check, and a bunch of patches that I had to make for just to do some demonstrations tonight. I had another camera that I was going to put on the HX Effects, and it failed on me tonight. So I got to figure out what's going on with that. So I was going to show you what was going on with the unit, but I'll just talk about it instead. I'm sure a lot of us are familiar with it. So yeah, I'm just going to go over a bunch of stuff tonight. I'm going to start things off with my new toy, the EVH Stealth 50 watt. And man, this thing just sounds incredible. I can't get enough of this amp. It's freaking amazing. So you know what I forgot? I forgot to bring my foot switch down. There we go. Turn off the hiss. Yeah, so I was going to bring my foot switch down. I forgot. So, yes, thank you so much for being here tonight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple of mixes on the EVH and talk about, some of the stuff that's going on with the preset in the HX Stomp. And then I'm going to switch to the Kraken, and I'm going to talk about how I fixed the Kraken with the HX Stomp and how I actually made it sound better. And thought I had that all the way down, sorry. And then I'm going to finish off with the Boogie, the Mk V 25, and I'm going to go through a lot more stuff with that. I'm going to play a little song thing that I wrote and show you some of the capabilities with the HX Effects and how easy it makes it so that you can add a lot of flavor to your songs without putting in a lot of effort. I'll do a couple mixes with that as well. And I'm also going to show you I have my drop-tuned guitar over here, way down, I think it's like drop G or something. So that one, I'm going to show you how I use the HX Effects to improve using that guitar. Okay, so that's also a nice thing. So there's a lot of really cool things that the HX Effects will allow you to do and will also do for you. And I'm just going to give you a bunch of practical demonstrations tonight regarding that. I'm going to say hello to some people, and then we'll get started on some of the mixes. I do have some new mixes in the works. It just takes time to get all this stuff like recorded, written, tight, all that. I had a song I was going to actually play for you guys tonight. I had a backing track I was going to go get done, but, that fell through today for some reason. So, really sorry, but it'll work out soon. So I'll have it back, more backing tracks soon. You Mofo, thank you so much for the, super chat. Good to see you here, buddy. Thank you. Mark Bowers, what's happening? Barry Gomez, what's up? Mike Jacobs, Jason Taylor, Gunnerman 54, Return to Coda. What's going on, guys? Looks like we got 20 people here. David Wallace David Walls, tuning in from Scotland. Hey, what's up, man? Good to see you here, man. I was gonna have a nice stout with me tonight, but I got to work out afterwards. So I'm drinking the healthy water tonight, so I can stay hydrated and get ready for my big workout afterwards. I meant to do it before, ran out of time. Seriously, I worked on this episode from the morning I rolled out of bed until now. A lot of work went into this one. So, anyways, well, let's do a mix. I'm going to do some of the typical stuff I do, but the reason why I do that is it keeps things consistent. And again, I'm trying to get new mixes for you guys, but, it takes a lot of time to get that stuff arranged and ready. So let's do the old standard one. So this is the EVH Stealth on the Blue channel, and the effects you're going to hear tonight are basically the overdrive that's in the HX effects, which is the Tone Sovereign. And man, I got to tell you, I was not a fan of digital overdrives until I figured out a great way to dial this one in. And so far, it's worked perfectly with all of my amps. None of my amps don't like it. They're all like, oh, cool, awesome sauce, and it works really well. So you're going to hear some delay and a little bit of chorusing on some of the things that I'm doing. And when I'm done doing these two mixes, I'll go through the presets and the snapshots with you guys so I can show you what's going on there. And these presets will be available on Line 6's marketplace very soon. I'm on their marketplace officially now. I just have to upload my presets and get some graphics up to them, and then my store there will be open. So let's do a couple riffs again, and I'm going to mute the mic and I'll start the mix. Still getting used to everything being over here as opposed to over there. All right, so yeah, that was fun. I'm going to turn my in-ears up just a tad here so I can feel it more. So let me play the crunch, you know, just the dry crunch with the overdrive, and then talk about that. Okay, so extremely tight, extremely full. What I like about this overdrive that I dialed in here is it really tightens up the amp, but it doesn't give it that choked sound. It just has a really full sound, and it's a little tighter, and it's more aggressive, and it feels great. Like everything I do, I have 100% confidence with, and I'm not, you know, insecure at all about what I'm playing here. So I feel very supported with it. And I feel like I could do anything, you know. So a lot of that has to do with the amp, but also the combination of the overdrive that I have dialed in with it. And then for like some of the, I call it big crunch, another setting that I have a slight chorus on there. I don't like too much chorus because I think it adds too much sheen to your tone and it kind of rounds it off. And I want to keep the edge, but I just want a little bit of thickness and some modulation. I could probably have it up a little higher in this particular setting, but it's okay. And then I have also a modulated delay. So there's a delay with a little bit of a modulated chorus on the end of it, on the trail. So I'm going to show you what that sounds like now. Okay, so that just kind of keeps things a little more interesting. And what I like about the modulated chorus too is it makes you want to stop. So if you're going to be doing it, even using it for some moody kind of leads where you come in and out with, it gives the listener something else to listen to besides just maybe just regular delay or reverb or nothing at all, which is really boring. So I'll show you that right now real quick. You know, just something like that to kind of spice things up a little bit. So just using that stuff really makes things interesting, and it keeps things kind of seasoned up on your playing a little bit, you know. Now here's the thing. Here's something I'm going to say about this. So a lot of us will hear an effect like that, and we'll be like, yeah, that's all good and all, but I'm not going to spend, you know, $200 or $150 on another pedal so I can use it every once in a while or maybe twice in my set list when I play live. It's not worth it to me. And you know what? I totally get it. I really do. I'm kind of with you on that. But here's the thing. With the HX effects, because it has so many effects in it for $4.99, you don't have to go out and buy another pedal. All you have to do is choose it. You know what I mean? You just reach down, pick it, adjust it to your taste, and set it good so it sits well in the mix of what you're playing there, and you're done. And the thing is with pedals like that, with this product, what's nice is you're going to audition a lot more effects because you don't have to go to the store, buy it, take it home, hope it works. get to know it. It doesn't work, then return it and get the other one, try 10 of them out. No, they're all in there. So you're literally trying stuff out in your environment. Okay, it's convenient. It doesn't cost you anything because you already bought the the HX effects. You already paid for everything that's in there and everything that's going to come in future updates. So you got all those pedals and all that stuff, and so maybe a lot of people will tell me, well, I don't need all that. Well, you don't think you need all that because you won't try it, because again, you're not going to go to the store and get all that stuff and pay extra for it and go through the back and forth and all that. But you're going to find that you're going to want to try more stuff, because let me turn this. You're going to find that you're going to want to try more stuff because again, it's convenient and it's inexpensive. So you don't have to worry about any extra expense. So now all the stuff that you didn't think you needed, you now are going to be using, because it's going to allow you to get more creative at no expense to you and no risk to you. Because if you don't like it, you don't have to return it. You just delete it. So, and the effects are really good. They're really good on here. There's a lot of great stuff on here. So there's basically that. And then for the lead, basically what I had was just some delay, and again I used the overdrive. So let me, I bumped the volume knob. That's never a good thing to bump the volume knob. Alright, 1 second here. So that's basically the lead effect. So it's just a regular simple delay, and I got it dialed at on that one I have I think it's 850 milliseconds, and you just set it to taste for your mix. And what's cool about this too is a lot of times it's like, oh, the delay is kind of loud. It's loud because I'm playing in mixes, but I can actually set a preset up so that I can just have my own personal practice time where there's no backing tracks, and I just want to play some leads and shred, And I could set up another patch in this where the delay setting is much lower in the mix, and I just got enough in there to fill things up and to have fun with and enjoy how it sounds. So again, there's all kinds of cool stuff, that this thing offers, and it's endless. So you have snapshots. So you have a setting where you have 4 snapshots, which a lot of you guys already know what those are. It's seamless transitions between different settings, and it'll turn on, I think, up to 68 things will happen in a split second with no click, no noise. It's all seamless, and it works very well. And then it also has another mode where you step on it, and I wish I could show you this. Again, my camera died. So where you have 6 stomps, and you can put them in any order that you want. And the other thing that's nice is you can make your stomps momentary, so they don't, or latching, so you can click it, and on and off, with your foot, or if you hold it down, it stays on until you release, so it's a momentary. Your pedals won't do that. At least most of them won't. Well, with the HX effects, you have momentary or latching, and you can program them accordingly, and it's very simple to do. You just turn a knob, latching or momentary. Very simple, and I'll demonstrate that later. So it's just, I'm just telling you, man, it's really nice to have something that's this versatile and will do way more than your pedal board ever would. And it's neat and tidy. You could just take it, plop it on the floor, and go. And I have it hooked up in 4-cable method, and it comes with a graph that shows you how to do that. Very simple. And I would suggest, too, going to Gear by Ceba, C-E-B-A, and getting the colored nuts and stickers, and what you just replace the nuts that are on the jacks with the colored nuts and put the corresponding sticker around the cable that matches with it. So when you change things or you set up on a gig or whatever, setting up and tearing down, it's easy. You just match blue to blue, green to green, red to red on everything, and you're done. And it just keeps everything really simple for you. So that's what I do, and I use a snake. You can see it, part of it here. It's all wrapped up in a snake, so it's all simple, easy. So I would do that too. But again, so, you have all this stuff. And again, like we've all seen the pedal boards covered in cat hair and everything, and the pedals are kind of like velcroed and crooked and wonky, and you got all these cables hooking them together. And if you have an issue, where like I'm not getting any sound, what's going on? Well, have fun finding that issue with the 40 cables that you got there, or 15 or whatever there are. I mean, one of them's bad, but troubleshooting that before a gig is always fun, right? So you don't have to deal with that with the HX effects. I mean, it's just you hook it up. There's 4 cables involved. It's got to be one of those if you have a cable issue. And I always keep an extra snake with me, so it's no big deal, So it's just so much easier to do that. You have all kinds of reverbs, flangers, phasers, chorus pedals, all kinds of different delays. You have overdrives, you have harmonizers. I mean, you have pretty much anything you can think of, and it's not just one of each. You have several of each. And the nice thing, too, is you could put your flanger, I don't know if you knew this or not, you probably do, but a flanger sounds different before an amp than it does after. Well, who's going to buy 2 flanger pedals so that they can have that one song or 2 songs that they would use that in? Or who's going to arrange that before that song starts on their pedal board, Hang on, guys, let me put my flanger before the amp as opposed to after. You don't have to do that anymore, because with the HX effects, you can put all that stuff in there and arrange it accordingly digitally, and you're done. I mean, you just use the effects loop for your amp, and that amp block goes in the center. That's usually where I start, and all the pedals that go before that effect block, that effect loop block, are before the amp, and all the ones after are after the amp, just like the effects loop. And that's really how it is. It's that simple. So, and again, a lot of people like, oh, I'm not going to buy 2 flangers, or I don't need that, or you're never going to have that discussion anymore, because once again, it's all free. So why not save the money? And just get the HX effects and have everything you need. And there are 2 effects loops on this unit, so if you do have some regular stomp box pedals that you really love and there's really nothing else out there that'll replace them, well, just hook them up to the effects loop or in front of it, either way. And now you can still have your favorite pedals as well. So it doesn't disallow you to do that, So very, very cool product. Let me catch up to some of the comments here. Warm chord music. Yeah. He got himself a HX effects, and he got himself a Mesa Mk V 25. So good for you, dude. That's awesome. Chicago Todd, what's going on, buddy? Derek Morrell says, I may have missed it, but is the amp on the clean setting and just using the HX effects, or is the amp on the crunch channel? Good question. The amp is on the blue channel, which is the crunch channel, and all the effects that you're hearing are from the HX effects, but all of the tone and crunch and distortion and all that stuff is coming from the amp. I'm pushing the amp with an overdrive that's in the HX effects, though, just so you know. I am pushing it with that. And it works great. Works really freaking good. Warmcore says, I really enjoyed the Stealth. Great amp. Mesa was just a better fit for me. Yeah, I hear you, dude. I mean, you got to buy what works best for you, man. Let's see here. Sean Hockey, what's going on? He says, what's up? Just got here. Love you guys. Even Arnold. What's happening, man? Darnold. I'm gonna get my Arnold on after the show. I got to go work out. So let me see here. Did I do everything on this amp that I wanted to do? Oh, you know what? Let's do the red channel. I mean, what the hell? I have it. Might as well freaking do it. I'll do those same songs with the red channel. I planned on doing that tonight anyway, so. Yeah, this red channel is freaking beastly, man. It's awesome. Hang on. Yeah, that is one gnarly freaking channel, man. Holy crap, is it awesome. I love that channel so much. It's great for leads, but it's also really good for rhythms too. I mean, if you want to use, just mix it up a little bit and just go all red channels sometime, it's definitely a lot of fun. Okay, so that covers that portion. So I'm going to go ahead and switch things up here. Let me turn this off. So the EVH works really well with the HX effects. All the effects work great. The overdrive worked perfectly with it. And when I get time, I will program the HX effects to switch all the channels on it too, which is great. I mean, it's got MIDI, so you can switch channels, and so I don't need the foot switch that comes with the EVH amp anymore. I'll use the HX effects with it, and I can simultaneously switch channels and all of the effects associated with that channel that I want as well without having to tap dance. So again, I can just hit clean, it goes to the clean channel, and all my clean effects come on. I go to lead, goes to the lead channel, all my lead effects go on. By the way, I forgot. I wanted to show you the clean channel and the effects that I had with that. So let me do that real quick. I mean, that's just freaking lush, man. And this is the best clean channel that EVH has ever had. I talked to them today, actually, and told them my thoughts about the amp. And I think he's watching tonight. Hey, what's up, buddy? It was good talking to you on the phone. He said he would check it out. So, again, freaking killer amp. I congratulated them on an awesome amp. And he said that this is the best clean channel that they've ever made. They did a really, worked really hard on it. And I also talked to him about the blue channel and said, hey, I love the blue. It's amazing. And he agreed with me. He agreed with me that the blue channel on the EL34 was a little muddy. And he said it did work good with single coils, though. So I figured I'd throw that out there. But so this is what is going on with the clean channel. I have chorus, and I have some reverb on there, which is the searchlights. So that's basically what's on there, and it just sounds phenomenal. I also have delay, a little bit of simple delay. Okay, so here's the thing. You can have a pedal board, all right, and have all of these effects on there, but you can't adjust them for each channel. So in other words, if you have chorus for your dirty channel and you're like, oh, that sounds great, and then you go to your clean channel and you're like, it doesn't sound so good on that. I want more for my clean and less for my chorus. You're going to have to sacrifice somewhere. You can either have too much for your dirty channel, or you're going to have not enough for your clean. Well, that's not so here, because with snapshots, all I have to do is in each snapshot, I can independently dial in all my effects to fit that channel or that preset as good as I want it to. And then, so like on this clean channel, I have the chorus quite a bit higher in level than I do on the dirty channel. And I can do that. You can't do that with the regular pedal board. You're kind of stuck with your settings unless, like I said, you're going to be kneeling down in between songs and turning things, which nobody's going to do. It's a big pain. So you don't have to do that here. It's all like with snapshots. Again, all the effects, everything that's on here is 100% tweakable per snapshot, and you can turn effects on and off and tweak them accordingly to whatever your needs and tastes are for each snapshot. And I just think that that's really freaking cool. And it allows you to get creative as opposed to corrective with everything. Because I hate being corrective. I'd rather be creative. We don't spend all that money to correct things all the time. We'd rather create awesome scenes and sounds for us to enjoy, as well as our audience. And we find it very inspiring. So why not, right? So that covers the EVH. So next, I'm going to do the Super Kraken. And I'm going to show you some neat tricks that I did for that. So there's a new preset for that. So let me hook that up. Bear with me a second here. And I tell you, having a nice dark room is great until you got to hook stuff up live. And then it's not so great. Yep, then you bang your guitar on things. All right. Hang on a second here. Don't want to do that again. I put my phone. Okay. Making sure I got it all hooked up right here. Send return. Da-da-da. Okay. Power. Yeah, I'll tell you, man. I love my Kraken. You guys know that. I love the Super Kraken very much. It's a fantastic amplifier. But it has one slight issue. And I think you guys pretty much know what that is. But I'll go over that in a second here. Ola England even said it when he reviewed it a couple weeks ago. And I was like, wow, I'm not the only one. It's a little dark. And it doesn't have a presence knob on it to allow you to brighten it up. You can crank the treble all the way up on it. It's not going to make that much of a difference as far as the brightness goes. But the HX Effects saved that for me by having the Kali EQ graphic in there. So I put that in a couple weeks ago and started messing with the EQ. And it goes after the amp block, which means you're EQing the whole amp sound. And it really woke the amp up. And it's a very subtle thing. It's not something that I went in and did this huge amount of EQ on. It was just very slight stuff. But it brightened the amp up just enough, just like a presence knob would. And it made it a lot more present in the mix, and it gave it a little more bite, which we all want out of our metal tones. And it totally fixed it. Big time. And I'll show you what it sounds like. You know what? I'll show you what it sounds like on first, because I want you to hear how glorious this thing freaking sounds. So let me fire it up. Let it warm up for a second. Okay, here we go. Okay, so that's basically how that sounds with the EQ fix. All right, so now I'm going to play the Petrucci riff, and I'll turn it on and off as I'm playing, and you'll hear the difference. Okay, again, very slight little EQ nudge there. Because again, it didn't need much. It just needed that little bit of bite. And so now, like, I'm serious. I had this amp. I love this amp. Trust me, I love it. But I had it parked for a while because when I played it in mixes, it sat in the mix okay. It did a good job, but I had to turn it up and stuff. But I just wanted more bite. And with the HX effects, I got it now. Now it sounds, I got my presence knob. I got the thing that the Kraken was missing. And I didn't notice it as much when I first got it as when I started playing like the EVH and the Mesa, which have a bigger spectrum of sound coming out of them, a bigger frequency range. And that's when I started noticing, wow, this thing's pretty dark, you know. Still sounds great, but it needed that extra little bite. HX Effects fixed that. And, you know, so now I don't have to go out and buy an EQ pedal. It's already in there. There's like several of them in there. I picked the Cali EQ to go with, which is basically the same thing as what's on here. It's the same frequencies, except I didn't set it up like I did on this amp because the frequency on this amp is completely different than this one. So there's no way I would do the V shape. I just did a slight little nudge on the two right faders, the highest faders, and I put in a little bit of low end. I mean, it was all very slight, like 2 or 3 decibels here and there on stuff, and it really made a huge difference. So, and what's nice too is the amp still sounds like the amp. It doesn't sound unnatural. It doesn't sound you know, fake or processed or screechy or anything like that. It just gave it that nice little bite, and I just did, like I said, you should always do subtle nudges with things, and it really woke the amp up and made it sound amazing. So I always loved this amp, but I'm in love with it even more now because now when I pair it with the HX effects, I'm good, you know. Plus I have all the other effects too. So it really did make a huge difference. Jeff Cornell, what's going on, buddy? What's happening, man? Carrie's here. What's going on? Oh, she loves the clean. I knew you would. You always like the clean stuff, don't you? But Carrie's got an edge to her. She likes the edgy stuff too, trust me. Good to see you here, Carrie. Gunnerman says, I got the Helix, but I can't seem to learn how to use it properly. Reach out to me, dude. Reach out to me. I think you got my email. I can send you a preset that you can just load in there, and hopefully that'll take care of a lot of things for you and at least give you a template. You know, I'll be happy to do that for you. Let's see here. Gray Thrasher says, I like the Tima Overdrive. But there's several good ones in there. Also, some of the Line 6 original stuff is actually really good. Oh, yeah, their legacy stuff is actually pretty freaking good. They got some crazy stuff in there that's really fun. You know, it's kind of like when you get, you know, the video game consoles, and then, like, you can still go back and get the Atari stuff and put it in and play it. It's still fun. It's like, oh, my God, I'm playing Destroyer. You know, or Space Invaders or whatever. It's still fun to do that, you know, every once in a while. So I still think the classic stuff that Line 6 came up with is really fun, and it's really cool. Let's see here. Yeah, and as far as the overdrive stuff goes, my favorite overdrive right now is the Tone Sovereign, and I got that thing dialed in, and it sounds so good on every amp. There's just such a great rich tone, and I literally didn't think I would ever part with my real pedals because I always felt that they sounded it better and felt better. And then I just started really tweaking it, and I was like, you know what? I want to see if I can make this work. And I started really tweaking it, and there's a couple tricks I added to it, and man, I'm serious. I don't miss my pedals. Will I still use them from time to time? Well, of course I will. I still love them. But I can literally go live with this now and not worry about not liking it or making any sacrifices. It literally sounds and feels great to me. It really does. Jeff Cornell says, Tone Wars you could play the dirty channel and show the difference between on and off. built-in overdrive pedal in the HX. You know what? That's a great idea. Let's do that. I just got to find the darn thing. What do we got here? All right. Alley graphic. Let me go up here. Signal flow. There it is. All right, so it's on right now. So let me do some chuggy chugs, and I will turn it on and off for you. It's on right now, so you'll hear it when it turns off. Okay, I felt like that was pretty obvious. Now, I didn't have time to dial in the gates, to take care of all this hiss tonight, but I can. You can do that with this. I'm not kidding. My day got completely away from me. So, but yeah, so you heard right there, you heard where the overdrive was on and off. And man, I felt instantly insecure as soon as it went off. I'm like, oh, this sounds okay, but it doesn't feel as good as I want it, and I want more aggression. So I turned it back on, and there it all was. See, I felt like Michael J. Fox at the dance, like I'm fading, and oh, cool. Oh, he kissed her. Thank God, and I'm looking at the picture going, yep, I'm going to be okay. And then I'm going to do Johnny Be Good. Just kidding. But that's basically how it's literally how it feels, though. You feel like Michael J. Fox playing the dance when you turn off the overdrive. Duck. So anyways, but you can also now. There's been guys telling me like I get certain overdrive or not overdrives, but noise gates. Like, oh man, I can get 2 noise gates. I can put one before and one after. There's some expensive ones that do both. Well, with the HX effects, you can actually put 2 in there. You could put one in the front and one behind your amp and take care of a lot of that extra noise. So that's something to keep in mind too. Again, just because, it has all kinds of pedals, and you can use each pedal as many times as you want in there. So you could stack them a mile high if you want, for God knows why. But you don't have to buy another pedal. So, like I said earlier, like the flanger before and after the amp. The different delays, different reverbs, different choruses, different settings on the chorus for different snapshots or different channels on your amp. It's all fixable. It's all tweakable, and it works in the snapshots. So it's just, and on top of that, again, when you push the other button and the mode button, now all your pedals, the ones that you want to prioritize, and the 6 buttons that you have there, you could prioritize them there, and you can dial them in independent of your snapshots, so that when you step on them, they'll be there for whatever you want them to be there for. And you can make a momentary or latch. So you have so many settings. So again, independent settings on your pedals if you want to put the HX effects in pedal board mode or stomp mode, or they'll work however you dial them in and save them for your snapshots, independent of each other. So it's so cool to know that you can pull up your pedal board mode on this board and dial in the pedals and know that it's not screwing up your snapshot settings. They really thought of everything. They really did. It's just a genius product. It really is. And that's why I love it so much. I have a lot of fun with this thing, So, what do I got here? So I got, I'm going to do a song right now with this particular mix, this particular amp. This amp is now really going to sit well in the mix for, because again, I got that really cool EQ on there. Let's give Time Flies a shot here. Let me play a couple riffs and I'll start it. Okay, so yeah, sat really well in the mix, and I love the effects. So again, for the for the regular crunch, I just had the overdrive on there, and then for the big crunch, I had overdrive and a little bit of chorus and a little bit of delay, and then for the lead, I had obviously overdrive, and then I had a really nice delay on there, and I just used the simple delay at 850 milliseconds, and it works perfect every time. It really does. It works really good, and I just love it. And so here's the thing too. Let me put this out there too. So if you have a stereo rig, you can use all the effects in here in stereo mode. These are all mono mode because I'm just using one cab tonight, but you actually have stereo effects too, and you get that nice ping pong and stuff like that, and it works perfectly as well. So I really love the ping pong delay on here, and I use it quite often with my stereo rig upstairs. So either way, works really well, and all the effects are there. Super easy to dial in and a lot of fun to play. And again, man, this amp sounds way better now because, again, like the whole thing when I watched Ola review the Super Kraken a couple weeks ago, you can watch that review. His final thoughts on it were the same as mine are. He was like, I love it. The lead tone is great. It sounds amazing. It feels great, but I want more bite. He said if they would have put a presence knob on here, it would have gave me that bite I'm looking for. But it doesn't mean it's not a good amp. All it means is I just wish it had that, that bite, Now you have it with this. So if you have an amp that you're not super happy with, but it's still a really good amp, and there's just like, I wish it had this or that, there's probably stuff in here that'll fix that. Now you could fall in love with your amp all over again. And make it like, okay, now my amp totally works for me. Because not every amp is perfect, but there's going to be amps out there that you love and you have reasons for it. And you can fix it when you pair it with a product like the HXFX. Because, again, it'll fix all that stuff. So there's basically the Kraken, the Super Kraken with the HXFX. Works perfectly. Again, I didn't have time to do all the MIDI stuff, but it will switch all the channels and the settings on this amplifier via MIDI, so I can just push one button. 60-some things, if I wanted them to, would happen all at once, the blink of an eye, seamlessly, and it would be something that would allow me to get more creative with my stuff, because again, there's a lot of guys who are like, well, I don't need this or I don't need that for my clean channel and this and that. But what they're really saying to me when they say that stuff is it's not worth the effort because it's a giant pain in the rear end to switch channels and then turn on 3 effects all at once. And I'm trying to play too and not trip over myself. That's what they're really saying when they say I don't need all that stuff. It really is, because I used to be that guy, but I'm such a tone fanatic and effects freak that I would do it. And I would be up there doing the river dance every time I changed channels, and it sucked, but I did it, you know. Now I don't have to, and and now I'm using more stuff than I ever thought I would. So don't let that stop you, you know, seriously. Like, get this pedal and hook it up to your amp. You're gonna love it. Okay, so man, I'm telling you, I haven't used the Kraken in probably like 3 4 weeks now, and I freaking love this thing right now. It sounds phenomenal. I love it. In fact, let's see here. I'm gonna do one more mix with it because I love it so much. This thing's really sounding good tonight. Where are we at here? All right, 1 second. Okay, had to get that out of my system. Wow, man. That was freaking killer. That was really, really cool. All right, so next I'm going to switch guitars, and I'm going to switch amps. So bear with me 1 second. This is a lot of work here, switching all this stuff. Okay. That's standby. This is woof. Now we're going to work our way up to the Mark V 25, which is definitely one of my new favorite freaking amps. That is amazing. I love it. Scott Fulmer, dude, you are killing it, man. Thank you so much. He said, love the Super Kraken. Thank you for all you do. Dude, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate the super chat. I really do. Yes, thank you so much. Any backings, chuggies tracks to play over? Yeah, I think maybe I missed. Yeah, I'm probably behind you guys on the comments, so I apologize. But yeah, I tried to do the chuggiest tracks that I can come up with for you guys. Gray Thrasher says the Kraken sounds awesome, and it may be the headphones, but it seems like something in the highs needs to be pulled back just a little. Yeah, in these it sounds great, but I'll check it out later. And that little dial-in I did tonight of it was a quick thing on the EQ, but man, it just, wow, you know, it sounds great in the mix. But I mean, yeah, I could always pull it back or whatever. It's all open for adjustment. You know, it's not a big deal at all, you know, to adjust it. So that's what's so great about this thing, is everything's adjustable. And for a solo, you can actually nudge your mids a little bit, you know, for a solo. And that's what's so cool about this. It allows you to do all these adjustments without reaching down. They're all pre-adjusted. You just step on the switch and all that stuff happens. And you don't need to buy a bunch of extra stuff to make it happen either. Gray Thrasher, thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate it very much. Okay, so let me do a quick switch over here. Shouldn't take long. Famous last words. Want to get my light on my phone just to make sure I don't blow anything up here. Bear with me a second. How often do you go on a channel and you see a guy running 3 amps, right? You know? In the same night, he's running 3 different amps. I'm the only one crazy enough to do that stuff. Okay. Got that in there. Let's return. Okay, 8 ohm, good. Okie dokie. Now this one is pretty cool because I actually programmed this amp today with the HX effects to control it. And one of the coolest features on this product are the amp control feature. So with the amp control feature, if you have an amplifier that doesn't have MIDI, but it's got an input, that allows you to, to hook a foot switch to, that's like a tip ring sleeve. Well, you just use that tip ring sleeve, a TRS cable, and you go from the amp control out on the HX effects into where your control pedal that comes with the amp goes, and you just program it to latch. You can have it tip, ring, or 0, and it'll change the channels for you, which I think is freaking killer. So not only will this do MIDI, but it'll do amps that don't take MIDI as long as they have an amp control in on them, which this amp does. So what a cool feature that is. Like I said, they thought of everything, There's not an amp on the planet that this will not get along with. It just works with every amp perfectly, It's like having a kid that gets along with everybody. You never have to have that conversation with the other parent like, oh, do your kids want to have a play date? And you're like, well, little Joey's a biter. Little Joey doesn't get along with other kids. We can't have that, I mean, this isn't little Joey the biter, It actually works with everything. So, I like that. I like it a lot. Okay, so let me hook up this guitar and do a couple mixes for you with this one and demonstrate some of the stuff I got going on here. So with this particular demo, I'm going to show you kind of how you can spice up a song a little bit more, and this is the one I wanted to have a backing track for earlier, but I didn't get, that fell through. But I'll play it without the backing track just to show you the example of what I'm trying to do here. All right, let me do a couple riffs on this. This is Channel 1 Crunch mode on the Mesa Mark V. Here we go. Oh, 1 second. I had it on the wrong preset. I had it on the Kraken one, which brightened it up to. I was like, why is this so bright? Because it was on the Kraken one. So I just switched to my Mesa preset, and now we'll listen to it. Okay, so let me do a mix with this, and then I'm going to go over that little stupid song I wrote just to show you what this thing can do. Let's do the Sphinx. Let me make sure this is turned up the way it should be. All right, here we go. Okay, so basically, had the crunch, you know, dry with the overdrive, and then the rhythm, you know, the big crunch was the little bit of chorus, a little bit of delay, and on the lead you had the mod lead, which has that chorusy kind of effect on the repeats on the lead, or on the delay. So yeah, mod delay I meant to say. So yeah, that's basically what you had going on there, and so what's cool though, if you look up here, you'll see that this is controlling the amp. See the light change? So I went from channel 1, which is green, to channel 2, which is red. Okay, so channel 1 has a crunch or a clean mode. So I can actually just change from like a good rhythm patch or rhythm channel into a really nice lead channel, which I can adjust the frequency, the gain, and maybe even the volume slightly on that channel so that the lead channel is dialed in nicely for all the leads that I want to do and have all the effects with it. And again, all I'm doing is switching on the HX effects. I'm not switching anything else. So at the time that I switch, it changes the amp and turns on the effects that I want or off, or adjusts them accordingly to what I want on that channel. It's all done seamlessly and within a blink of an eye. And that's what's so nice about it. I love that so much. So let me do this other thing here while I'm on this this amp here. So we're on my channel. Make sure I'm on the right channel here. Yeah, I'm on the right channel. So I'm going to play a passage the boring way, and then I'm going to go ahead and play it again with the effects that I have dialed in. And I have the HX effects in stomp mode right now. And I have one of the effects in momentary. So I don't have to step on it to turn it on and step on it to turn it off. I just step on it, and it stays on as long as my foot's there, and then I pull it off and the effect turns off. So it allows me to do a lot of cool stuff and interject that stuff in there without having to watch what I'm doing all the time and deal with the pain in the ass of stepping on and stepping off. So I'll play it boring first, and I'll play it spiced up second. Okay, so there it is, and I'm going to use my tuner that comes with this. What an opportune time to talk about the tuner. I am out of tune a little bit here. So that's a passage I wrote on purpose for this live stream, just to kind of have something. There's the one. Wow, that was flat as hell. So I could show you guys creatively what can be done with this. These are new strings, so they're giving me some hassle here. There we go. Alright, and it has a tuner, and I just used it. So let me do it the fun way. Okay, so that was definitely a lot more interesting, at least to my taste it was. So what was going on there was I had I have two flangers like I talked about earlier. I got one before the amplifier, which sounds like this. Okay, so that's the one before. The same pedal afterwards sounds like this. Okay, so that's the difference. That's why having two flangers is always recommended, because they sound completely different depending on where you put them before or after the amp. And no one, again, is going to buy two flangers for a stupid little song like that. But if they're already in the HX effects, why not? They're already in there. You paid for them. Just dial them in. So, and also on this part, the whole... I use the Mod Chorus Echo, which has that chorusy little delay on it. And so yeah, so that's what I used. And again, the flanger I used before the amp was momentary, so it was very easy for me to do. It wasn't a pain in the butt to click it on, click it off, and have the perfect timing for it. It was very easy to just step on it and then release when I was done with it. Your pedal board can't do that. You don't have pedals on your pedal board, most likely, that have a latching or a momentary adjustment on them, or selection. But with the HX effects, you do. So again, very, very cool that I could do that. And the thing is it was fun to play. You didn't see me up here sweating bullets trying to make sure I'm stepping on everything. No, it's easy. It's very fun to play. And when you're on stage, it gives you one more thing that you can do on stage, and you're throwing stuff out to the audience, and they get to enjoy all that stuff as well. So, and I really think that a lot of us, when you have something that's as easy as this, to dial in, it's as fun as this to dial in, and allows you to get as creative as you want, you're going to find yourself really getting lost in a lot of this stuff and enjoying all the different nuances that you can add to your music and spice it up. I mean, a well-cooked steak is great, but a well-cooked and seasoned one is even better. And that's the way I look at this, So I just really think that this really does add a lot of great stuff to your writing, your playing, and just your music style. It'll actually help you do a lot of stuff that you never thought you would be doing before. So I have one more little example I want to show you, but I want to read some comments, and I'll show you that example. We'll hang out for a bit, and then I'll have to call it a night. Let's see here. Oh, Great Thrasher said, I'll give you another super chat to do Johnny Be Good. I wonder if I could even remember it. I don't know, it's something like that. It's weird on a 7th string. I'll probably get demonetized just for that, Let's see here. That's hilarious. Oh, Sean says, you did chug it. Great job. All right, cool, man. I'm all about the chugs, man. Aaron Green, let's see here. You guys are talking about me jumping around with Marty McFly. That's hilarious. Let's see here. I'm just trying to catch up to you guys here. The Kraken is awesome, Grey Thrasher says. I'm probably a little biased too because I have the Stealth and have a history of 5150 starting with the original. I haven't even heard the Mesa yet, so I know I like those too. Yeah, the Kraken's awesome, man. It's just a great amp, and like I said, it's even better now. I like it even better because that preset that I made to dial it in with just fixed everything. It just sounds incredible. Let's see here. Okay, so all right, caught up on the chat. So yeah, that's basically, again, this does not have MIDI, but the HX Effects does have an amp control out, so that I can overcome that issue by using the amp control out. So I just took the cable that Mesa supplied me with for their pedal, their channel switching pedal, and I just plugged it into the to the HX Effects and just dialed in the controls or the commands that I needed, like tip, ring, or I think 0 or whatever, and it'll switch all the stuff on it, no problem. Because again, like this is what you have right here. So right now I'm on the green, or no, I'm on the red channel, or where am I? The green channel. All right, so then I'm going to switch, and you'll see the light turn right to the red channel, which is the lead channel. So very easy to do, simple. It took like not even 5 minutes to program it, and I was done. So very, very cool. And on a side note too, this actually has a clean channel on it as well. You can change the the crunch mode on the channel 1 to clean, and so now you can have a clean channel and a rhythm and lead channel on this with by switching back and forth as well, and all the effects will be dialed in accordingly. So just endless options, seriously, endless freaking options. That's why I think that, like, I'll never, like, I love pedals. I think they're cool. I have a collection of pedals, and that's why these, like the HX Effects allows you to plug pedals into it. It has effects loops and stuff. But I'm pretty sold on the idea of using this as opposed to a lot of pedals, because I think it sounds great. I think it adds a lot of great stuff and options and features and flexibility to my rig. Why wouldn't I use it? It really does work very well. All right, so the next point I want to make, and my final point tonight, and these are practical things. Like, these are all realistic, practical type things that we're talking about tonight, because let's face it, it's fun to get nerdy and stuff every once in a while, but I'd rather start out with this with stuff that I think is very relatable and stuff that all of us could use, as opposed to, oh, check out this one weird thing it does. I'm sure it does a lot of weird things, but we're not going to talk about that tonight. Let's just talk about practical stuff, and I think so far everything's been practical. Well, here is probably one of the most practical things that this thing can do. And this guitar is one of my favorite guitars. I don't play it very often, so you wouldn't think it was, but it's definitely one of my favorite guitars. This thing is a beast. And it is drop tuned I'll tell you in a second here. And this is why this is such a good point to make tonight, because drop tuning and low tunings and all that stuff is very common now. I'm down to drop G on this thing. So it's just dark as hell, and it's great. It's got that snarly, throaty kind of sound, and that's why we like that tuning, right? Well, the problem with that tuning, though, is a lot of times it's like, oh, man, it doesn't sit in a mix very well, and there's actually amps now, like the JP Mark II C+, he's got shred mode, which actually brightens the amp up a little bit and tightens it up a little bit for really low tunings, so it sits better in a mix. Well, with the HX Effects, what's nice about that is I actually have the Cali Q graphic again, but it's just a slight nudge on this so that it would sit in a mix better. And this is just a quick dial-in I did. I didn't sit around and perfect it and spend hours and hours on it. I just did it for an example tonight, so if it's not perfect, trust me, it will be very soon. I just did this as an example tonight. So I'm going to play this thing, and the graphic EQ is on right now, and then I'm going to turn it off, and you're going to hear it kind of sink a little and be a little, it doesn't have as much bite on it. And again, the EQ that I did, I mean, if you thought the EQ on the Kraken was subtle, it's really subtle on this. It's very, very subtle. And again, with EQ, you should always do subtle things. If you're doing extremes, then there's a bigger problem than that. So let me fire this up. I'm going to play a couple riffs on this. No mixes with this guitar tonight, but I'm just going to play a couple riffs, and I'll turn the EQ on and off while I'm playing. Okay, again, that was a quick dial in, but you can hear how the subtle bit of EQ just added that little bit of bite that the guitar needed to sit in the mix better, but it still maintained the tone and the full kind of throatiness and the deep, rich kind of aggression that's in there. So if I want to adjust this, I just touch it because these knobs are all touch capacitant. So you can just touch them, and whatever you touch will activate a new menu to open up. So I'm going to go ahead and take the EQ down to just 1 dB on the 6600 hertz and see what that's like, okay? 1 second. Yeah, not bad. So just a very slight nudge on that, and it just opened it right up and made it sound a little brighter. I could even take it down a little more as far as how much. So it's like half of a decibel. Gosh, I keep reaching over there. I'll turn it on and off real quick here. There you go. I think that's probably, it's really subtle, but it still gives it that little bit of bite because I'm not much for really bright tones. I can't stand it when my ears start kind of stinging from bright tones. And admittedly, when I first had it, it was a little on the bright side for me, but I think I've found at least a better spot for it. I might go up another notch, but that's about it. But again, that was a quick dial-in I did right before I went live. And that sounds, you could definitely improve your tone with that and sit in the mix better. Because the last thing you want to do is like be on stage and you're driving the sound guy nuts because he's like, your guitar is, it's like up and down all night depending on which guitar you use. And I'm trying to dial you in, but I got other stuff going on, and sometimes I'll forget. And now you're buried in the mix for the whole song you're using a lower tune guitar for. And it sucks. So you can take care of that problem here as long as you do it subtly. Again, everything with your EQ should be very, very subtle. And if you do it right, you won't really have to, you're not going to miss out on much. I mean, you're not going to drive anybody nuts with your horrible screechy tone. But you're going to have a nice pleasant nudge. And that's what studios do. If your guitars aren't bright enough, they'll just brighten them up with EQ. I mean, why not just do it yourself tastefully so you can have that adjusted sound everywhere you go? Because to be honest with you, I run sound, and a lot of sound guys, they don't know that, oh, you're picking up the drop tune guitar. They don't know. They'll be halfway through the song and you go, I don't know why I can't hear him all of a sudden. Oh, I bet he's using they don't know what tuning you are. You took all the guesswork out by having this and having it dialed in for them so they don't have to do the work, So it really helps you avoid those situations. Helix Cabana Boy. What's up, man? Good to see you here. Said, hi, just tuned in. I love the HX effects. I've had one since it came out. Oh, awesome. Are you hauling a full load down Highway 51 after the show? Looks like I got all kinds of stuff here, doesn't it? Brian Anderson, what's going on? Hey, I got your email, by the way. I've been meaning to get back with you, and I guess we could discuss that real quick here if you want. Let me see here. I bought a preset from you for the HX effects. I think it was the first one. Yes, with the graphic EQ, and thought it was brilliant. Oh, thank you. Prior to that, I hadn't even thought of using it to accent your amp sound. No, that's great, dude. Thank you so much for being here and for commenting. Yeah, that's what it's for. Like, everybody's got, different amps. Like, a lot of people do use EQ pedals on their amps because it does improve the sound if you do it right. And that's what's so nice about having that EQ pedal in the HX effects is that, you can tweak things and fine tune it and polish your amp and give it a little bit of a mastering kind of touch if you put that in there and you use it right. Again, it should be very subtle, but yeah, it's fun to do. I don't do it on all my amps. Like, I will not do it on the EVH. I don't really think I need to do it on that. I don't need to do it on the Mesa because it's already got an EQ here. So, but on the Kraken, yeah, absolutely. It definitely woke it up. And you were asking me something about doing the pinch harmonics. I mean, a preset that would help with that. I mean, basically, the best way to get your pinch harmonics down is practice, getting the meat of your thumb just barely touching that string after you strike it with the pick, and it gives it that kind of that nice ring. And you need a lot of gain. The more gain, the better for those, within reason, of course, in an overdrive. Without an overdrive, pinch harmonics are usually really flat, and they don't really live very long. They just kind of come out and then they die. So you want an overdrive and work on the technique and make sure the gain's up on the amp. These gain shamers, I always love it when the gain shamers come on. Your gain's too high, and then I hear them play and try to do pinch harmonics and leads and stuff, and I can hear the weakness in the amp, and I'm like, yeah, how's that gain treating you? How's that low gain treating you? You got to have a lot of gain for stuff like that. It's just the way it is, and I find a sweet spot on my amps. Number one, for live playing. Number two, that will cover all of my needs for all of the different notes and tricks and all the stuff that I do on the guitar. And once I find that sweet spot, I usually don't deviate from it because I don't want to have it work for 3 of my tricks but not 4 of them. If I have 10 tricks, I want it to work for all 10 of them. So that I don't suffer when it works for everything but pinch harmonics. Every time I do one, it sounds flubby and crappy. So I guess that's the best advice I can give you. Just make sure that the overdrive's on, and you're slamming the amp hard with it, because it definitely works a lot better when you do that. So, Ray Thrasher, he says, thanks for the super chat, man. Thank you so much. I think it's your second one. Thank you, man. Really appreciate that. Gabriel Sanchez, what up? Is that the is the trucker hat? Something like that. Actually, I got so busy doing stuff tonight. Didn't have time to do the today, man. I was like, screw it, man. Let's throw on a hat. I literally worked on this episode all day, just working on ideas and different things I was going to do and how I dialed everything in. And sound checking 3 amps with all the mixes is not easy. So it took a while, but it's worth it so I can hang out with you guys and give you guys the best information that I can. And ever since I got this and I started doing little like pictures and stuff like that and having friends over to check it out, a lot of people are getting these, and I know they've been out for a couple years, but I mean, it's a great pedal, pedal board. I mean, this is the size of it right here. That's how small it is, and you could just take this, put it on the floor anywhere you go, and it'll replace your whole pedal board. I've seen guys, and I'm one of them, with aircraft carrier size pedal boards, and this will do everything and then some on that, because again, you have all these different pedals, all these versions of these different pedals. You have the snapshots, you have the stomp mode, and you have a thing where the pedals are latching, which means normal, you just click on, click off, or momentary. It just does a lot of things that your pedal board most likely will not do. And on top of it all, it controls your amp. It switches it via MIDI or through the amp control out, like it did here on the Mesa. So, I mean, you can't go wrong with it. I mean, you really can't. It's a great product. It gets out of your way and allows you to play your guitar and get creative, and that's really what the best products out there are. The best products out there are the ones we don't appreciate or we don't notice very much because they're not in our way. They're not something that we got to tweak it all the time and mess with. They're just there. And it's easy to take them for granted because you can just reach down and pull up an effect and dial it in, and there you go. You can bring home an amp, and it's not a pain in the butt to get the pedal to work with it because it's just super easy. So you spend more of your time playing through the HX effects than you do playing with it, if that makes sense. And that's why I think it's like one of those products that we don't really appreciate until we're like, one day we're just like, man, you know what? This thing's pretty freaking cool. I mean, every amp I bring home, I can run it with it. Every effect I want to dial up, they all sound great. And it really does add a lot to my, to my music. So, so I have to, my hat's off. Literally, I'm wearing a hat tonight. My hat's off to Line 6. You guys did a great job on this. And it's a great pedal, and I appreciate you guys sending it to me so I could, I could do this this review. I'm honored to do it. And again, I will be on Line 6's marketplace very soon. I'm out there, but I don't have anything up there yet for you guys to get, but it will be up soon. I just have to send over some artwork and then start uploading presets, and you can have presets for your Helix and for HX effects, and soon HX Stomp stuff will be up there as well for you guys to enjoy, and I'll be doing another episode about that very soon. So let me catch up to you guys real quick, and then I'm gonna go and it's arm night. I gotta train the guns before they shrink on me. Let's see here. Gabriel, you the man. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Helix Cabana Boy says no amps on the HX effects, but you can use IRs, so you can set up a stage sound with your amp and split with an IR to FOH. No, that's cool. That is a really cool thing. You can put IRs in it, but this is for guys like me who love our amps, and we just want to, have it be a hub for all of our stuff, so it just works the amps and adds great effects to them. Granny Thrasher, not that these are the only 3 killer amps, but these are 3 killer amps. The HX effects is killer. No, thanks for commenting, man. Yeah, these amps, like, seriously, are awesome. The MT15 is hiding back there. I think you can see part of it. I almost had that tonight, but these are new. I just got the EVH and the Mesa in within the last week or so, and I'm still on my honeymoon phase with those, so I wanted to use those tonight. And I thought the Kraken would be great because I haven't played it in a long time, and I thought it'd be cool to show how the HX effects can improve the sound of the Kraken. And they're $100 off right now. They're $4.99. I think normally they're $5.99. So. And I'm not trying to. This isn't a sales pitch. Like, honestly, I'm not being paid to say any of this stuff. It's not. I don't own stock in Line 6, But I'm just telling you this because if you want to get one, they are on sale. They're $100 off right now, if I remember correctly. So that's a pretty good deal, And trust me, I was a huge doubter on whether or not the overdrives in these products were going to work with my amps because I've yet to find one that really worked with it over the last couple of years, but so I didn't even think about it anymore. I just used my pedals, and then one day when I was dialing in presets for the Line 6 marketplace, I'm like, well, let me just try one. They've added some. Let me just try one and see if I can make this work. And I found the Tone Sovereign, and like I said, I spent a little bit of time with it and really tweaked it, and I was like, man, this really does. And I had the pedal, the precision drive on my pedal board, so I kept switching back and forth between them, and I'm like, I'm not really feeling a difference that would make me go, well, it still isn't there yet. It's there. It's really there. And in fact, depending on the amp, it's not as choked. When I use the Tone Sovereign pedal from the HX Effects or my Helix, it's more fuller and it still has that great attack and that tamed low end. So I'm kind of preferring that now. And I know it sounds weird, but I am. I think it just sounds really freaking good. So I'm happy with it. But yeah, these amps are amazing. I'm lucky to have them. I really am. I'm very, very lucky to have these amps. Very happy with them. I've come full circle. I'm definitely an amp guy again. For a long time, I was a big digital guy, and I still think digital stuff is great. But there's nothing like plugging into a real amp and smelling the tubes and having the room get warmed up a little bit. And you get that, you know how that smells, right? Like the electricity, you can smell it, and it's just like that power. It's like a hot engine in your garage after you park your hot rod. You just want to leave the door open and let it come in the house for a few minutes because it just smells amazing, and it's real. And what's cool is you can pair it with the HX effects and have all these great effects and switching. And it's kind of a merging of the best of both worlds there, and they just work so well together. So I'm really enjoying the amps. I still enjoy the digital stuff. Other products, what I won't mention tonight because this is about the HX effects, but there's a lot of great stuff out there. I mean, Rhett Shell says it all the time. We're in the golden age of gear right now, and he's right. We really are. There's a lot of great stuff out there, and people ask me all the time, well, what's your favorite amp? And it's funny because Jay and Steve Shaheen, who's probably in here as well, Steve just ordered one of these HX effects because he played it at my house, and so did Jay. They both played it, and they were like, dude, this thing's actually cooler than I thought it would be. And that's why I wanted to do this episode, because it's not just an effects pedal. It's not just a thing where you're like, oh, cool, you got some delay and some flangey things, and it's not that. It's so much more than just a couple of effects. There's dozens and dozens of effects in here that you probably never even thought of using, number one. Number two, they don't cost you anything. You can just dial them in. If you don't like it, just move on to the next one. You can go speed dating with your effects with no expense. You don't have to buy any of them dinner. So it's awesome, and again, with the switching and all that is great. But getting back to my point, a lot of people come over or a lot of people ask me here on the channel, either in the chat or in the comments, which is I always love doing the comments with you guys. By the way, which amp is your favorite now? Like, since you reviewed this, is this better than that one or that? And I always say it's hard for me to tell because I like them all for the same, but for different reasons. And I know that sounds PC. But Jay came over and played a lot of my amps, and so did Steve Shaheen. And at the end of the night, I'm like, so what do you think? And they're like, we totally get it now. Like, we totally understand why you say what you say, because when you have them all in the same room and you play through them, they're all amazing. It's just which one speaks to you a little bit more than the other, and you got to pick one. Well, Jay picked this, Steve Shaheen picked this one. So Steve picked the EVH, Jay picked the Mesa, and that just goes to show you, like, they're all really good, but it also depends on your mood. I mean, honestly, the mood I'm in right now, I want to play the Kraken some more because that thing just sounded killer tonight. So, and it's been a while, so but now people understand, like, it's so hard for me to pick a favorite because they really are all good, and I'm extremely grateful for what I have here. I mean, it's amazing. Like, I can sit for hours and play my amps and just enjoy it so much. And I feel inspired, and I write things, and I have all kinds of inspirational things coming out of me now because I just love how things sound and feel. So it's great. Oh, Jason Taylor, dude, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, I've been driving during the show, so I haven't had a chance to chime in, but just wanted to say awesome as always. Wow, man. You're awesome. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I really do. Gunnerman. Oh, wow. Thanks, man. Another super chat. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. Yeah, we had a lot of fun hanging out with you guys tonight and going through all this stuff. Yeah, these amps they're a lot of fun. They really are. And if you're an amp guy and you really love you know keeping your amps, but you're kind of sick of your pedal board and they're just maybe you want to add some more pedals. I mean, you can go out and buy two really nice pedals and pay the same price you would for the HX effects, and they're still not going to control your amp. They're still not going to have latching. They're still not going to have other options on them. But with the HX effects, you do get all that. So again, you get noise gates, you get compressors, you get EQs, you get all kinds of modulated effects, including choruses. You get flangers, phasers. You get all kinds of did I say overdrives? You get delays. You get delays that are modulated. You get other kind of delays. You get reverse delay, which is cool. That's a real eerie one. There's just so many options on here, and the snapshots and the stomp mode. I mean, all that stuff. It's just unbeatable. I'm surprised. There's a ton of these out there. I mean, I see them all the time, but I'm surprised I don't see more of them because, I mean, you literally replace your pedal board with it. You really will. And I'm finally at a point right now where I still love my pedals and I'll still use them occasionally, but I'm perfectly happy with what I'm using here. And I'm freaking fussy. So, all right, guys. Well, it's 9:42. I have to work out before I hit the sack tonight, and I still got to play a little more guitar and eat a ton of protein. So I'm trying to get all my stuff back I lost when I got sick. So, well, I really appreciate you being here with me tonight. Seriously, it really means a lot. I love spending time with you guys and hanging out with you. And Carrie and I will be live Sunday night, as usual, at 7 o'clock. And we'll have something for you. I mean, I don't know what I'll be doing that night, demoing or whatever, but I'll be demoing something for you. We'll have a good time. She might sing. We're still working out the details on that. But thank you so much for the super chats. I very much appreciate that. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the kind words, for the commentary, the back and forth, the questions, everything. I love it. I really appreciate it very much. Seriously, you guys always make my day when I do this. I do put a lot of time into this, but I honestly, I know that it just sounds cliche, but I do it because I really do enjoy hanging out with you guys. I look forward to it, and it's worth every bit of effort. So, well, I'm going to get off here and get some food and gonna hit the gym and do some working out. Yeah, gonna get to the chopper. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much again. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys on Sunday night. And God bless you guys. And every day's a gift. It really is. And thank you so much for spending part of your gift with me. I really appreciate it. Take care. Have a good night. And all that other stuff. Oh my God, I got another super chat. Christopher. Thank you. He said thanks for hanging out. Go get the buff work. Yes, I'm going to get buff now. I'm going to do it now. Come on. And then